You know that moment of intense, paralyzing resistance when you sit down to start difficult work, or right before you put on your running shoes? You stare at the blank screen and you freeze. Discipline is a physical neural architecture being built piece by piece inside your brain. We often label hesitation as a failure of character, but the brain views it through a more mechanical lens. If an action feels impossibly hard, it is because the neural infrastructure required to execute it does not yet exist. The brain cannot distinguish between a lack of discipline and a lack of built-in structural pathways. Success depends on surviving this construction phase until the subconscious brain can completely automate the action. Relying on conscious willpower is a structural failure. The prefrontal cortex simply runs out of energy. Voluntary movement actually begins in the motor cortex nearly half a second before you're even aware of your decision to move. But there is a secondary clock that starts the moment you see a cue, a window of time where your brain is still preparing to act before it begins evaluating the cost. This 17-second window is critical. Initially, your prefrontal cortex is offline. Miss it, and evaluation circuits fully engage, creating a friction spike that kills the habit. But initiate action within 17 seconds, and you cleanly bypass resistance, starting the habit machinery immediately. Winning this exact window is the mandatory first step. It forces the brain to physically encode the new behavior without the interference of conscious hesitation. Deep below the cortex lies the basal ganglia, the brain's autopilot factory. This is exactly where deliberate, conscious actions are actively processed and converted into automated programs that run entirely without your input. This factory runs on a specific operating system, the habit loop. It requires a cue to trigger the sequence, a routine to execute, and a reward signal to reinforce the circuit for next time. Inside this circuit, the brain manages two pathways, go and no-go. They act as gas and brake pedals. The default state is locked. The no-go pathway constantly applies a brake, preventing action. To move, your brain must desynchronize its beta rhythms, the neurological status quo signal. This drop in beta amplitude releases the brake on the go pathway, allowing the action to fire. Every effortless habit you have, brushing your teeth or checking your phone, is the result of the go pathway structurally outcompeting the no-go pathway for that specific action. The specific subregion that locks in this structural dominance is the dorsolateral striatum, or DLS. Whenever you initiate an action within that 17-second window and receive a dopamine reward, the DLS encodes the behavior as a chunked sequence. Over time, the brain learns to automatically run the entire physical program as soon as the initial cue fires. Many people believe this structural rewiring only takes 21 days, but this figure is an anecdotal myth that ignores the actual timescale of neural consolidation. This chart shows the real neuroplastic timeline. Achieving true structural automaticity in the DLS takes an average of 66 days of repetition. During these 9 weeks, neuroplasticity acts as a physical construction crew. It prunes away the old avoidance pathways and wires new, thick DLS sequences that become permanent by day 66. Discipline is a 66-day physical remodeling project. Abandoning a habit at day 21 means halting construction before the foundation has even set. To systematically manipulate this architecture, apply 4 strategies that exploit these neurological mechanisms directly. Strategy 1 is the zero delay protocol. Initiate a microaction the exact second a cue fires. This beats the 17-second resistance window before the prefrontal cortex can calculate the effort. Strategy 2 is environmental design. Look at how these setups differ. By lowering the activation energy required for the desired action, you give the go pathway an automatic structural advantage over the no-go brake. Strategy 3 is habit stacking. Attach a new behavior to a DLS circuit that's already automated. This allows you to piggyback off existing structural automaticity without needing new willpower. Strategy 4, micro-action start. Prioritize the speed of starting over the duration of the task. Even 1 minute of effort releases the dopamine signal the basal ganglia needs to begin the 66-day encoding process. These strategies remove neurological friction. They allow the basal ganglia to encode the habit so that eventually you no longer have to think about it at all. Every day, cues trigger your automatic circuits. Your brain is either building the physical structure of discipline or tearing it down. Every repetition decides which.